You're not tired. You're disorganized. You're not unlucky. You're unfocused. And the truth you've been avoiding is this: your life isn't falling apart, and it's just not under control. Listen carefully, because this might be the wake-up call you've been waiting for. There's a moment in every person's life when they quietly realize something is off. Not dramatically, not all at once, but in small, frustrating ways. You wake up tired, you move through your day reacting instead of leading, and deep down you feel like you're capable of more, but you can't quite reach it. That feeling right there is the cost of not being clear about what you want. Clarity is power. Without it, you drift. With it, you direct. Think about this. Imagine getting into a car, turning the engine on, and just driving. No destination, no map, no purpose. You might move fast, you might even feel busy, but you're going nowhere. That's exactly how most people live their lives. They're active, they're exhausted, but they're not progressing. Why? Because they never took the time to decide exactly where they're going. When you get ruthlessly clear about your goals, everything changes. Your decisions become sharper. Your time becomes more valuable. Your energy stops leaking into meaningless distractions. Suddenly, you're not saying yes to everything. You're saying yes only to what aligns with your vision. Look at people who achieve extraordinary success. Whether it's in business, sports, or personal growth, they all have one thing in common. They know exactly what they want, not vaguely. Not, I want to be successful someday. No, they are specific. They are intentional. They are obsessed with clarity. There's a story about a young man who felt completely stuck in life. He had a job he didn't love, no direction, and no real sense of purpose. One day, he was asked a simple question: what do you actually want? And he couldn't answer. That silence was his turning point. He went home, sat down with a pen and paper, and forced himself to define his goals. His income target, the kind of lifestyle he wanted, the person he wanted to become. It wasn't perfect, but it was clear. And from that moment on, his life started to shift, not because magic happened, but because direction did. You see, clarity doesn't just tell you where to go. It eliminates confusion. It removes hesitation. It gives you a filter for every choice you make. When an opportunity comes, you don't wonder. You measure it against your goal. When distractions appear, you don't fall for them. You recognize them for what they are. But here's the hard truth. Getting clear requires effort. It requires honesty. It forces you to confront what you truly want, not what others expect from you. And that's uncomfortable. That's why most people avoid it. They stay busy instead. They stay distracted. Because it's easier than sitting alone and asking yourself the tough questions. But if you want control over your life, you must do it. Take the time. Sit down. Write it out. Be specific. Be bold. Be unapologetic about what you want. Because the moment you gain clarity, you stop wandering. And the moment you stop wandering, you start winning. There's a silent reason why most people stay stuck, and it has nothing to do with talent, luck, or intelligence. It's because they wake up every single day without a plan. They start their mornings in reaction mode, not control mode. Messages, distractions, random tasks, they take over, and by the end of the day, they feel exhausted, but not accomplished. That's not a lack of effort, that's a lack of structure. Planning your days is not a small habit, it is a life-altering discipline. It is the difference between drifting through time and commanding it. When you plan your day, you are making a bold statement. My life will not be controlled by chance. Think about the highest performers in any field. They don't just show up and see what happens. They design their day before it even begins. They decide what matters, what must be done, and what will not be tolerated as a distraction. That level of control is not accidental. It is built through daily planning. Imagine two people starting the same day. One wakes up and immediately checks their phone, scrolling, reacting, wasting mental energy before the day even begins. The other sits down the night before, writes down their top priorities, schedules their time, and wakes up with clarity. By noon, one is overwhelmed and scattered. The other is focused and already making progress. Same 24 hours, completely different outcomes. Planning gives your time a purpose. It transforms your hours from something you spend into something you invest. There's a powerful story of a business owner who was constantly stressed, always behind, and barely keeping up with his responsibilities. He believed he needed more time, but what he actually needed was a plan. One evening, out of frustration, he wrote down everything he needed to do the next day, then prioritized the top 3 tasks that truly mattered. The next day, he focused only on completing those before anything else. And something incredible happened. For the first time in months, he felt in control. Not because his workload disappeared, but because his direction became clear. That's the power of planning. It doesn't reduce your responsibilities. It organizes your attack. And here's where most people fail. They underestimate the importance of consistency. Planning once won't change your life. Planning every single day will. It's a habit, a ritual, a commitment to yourself that you will not leave your success to randomness. Yes, it takes discipline. Yes, it requires you to slow down and think ahead. But that small investment of time pays massive returns. It saves you from wasted hours, poor decisions, and unnecessary stress. When you start planning your days, you'll notice something shift. You become calmer, more focused, more decisive. You stop reacting and start leading. You begin to respect your time, and in return, your time starts working for you. Because at the end of the day, your life is simply a collection of your days. And if you can take control of your days, you can take control of your life. Look around you for a moment, not just with your eyes, but with awareness. The clutter on your desk, the endless notifications on your phone, the noise in your mind that never seems to quiet down. Now ask yourself honestly, how much of this is actually helping you move forward? Very little. Most of it is noise, and that noise is costing you your life. You see, success doesn't just come from what you do, it comes from what you eliminate. Every distraction you allow, every unnecessary commitment you accept, every toxic influence you tolerate, it all chips away at your focus, your energy, and your potential. And the worst part, it happens so slowly that you don't even notice it. There's a powerful story about a man who felt constantly overwhelmed. He blamed his job, his responsibilities, even his lack of time. But one day he decided to track exactly how he was spending his day. What he discovered shocked him. Hours lost to social media, constant interruptions, meaningless conversations, mental clutter from things that didn't matter. He wasn't overwhelmed because he had too much to do. He was overwhelmed because he had too much that didn't matter. That realization changed everything. He started small. He removed unnecessary apps from his phone. He cleaned his workspace. He limited his exposure to negativity, news, gossip, people who drained his energy. At first it felt uncomfortable, almost unnatural. Silence replaced noise. Space replaced clutter. But then something incredible happened. Clarity. When you eliminate the noise, you create room for focus. When you remove distractions, you reclaim your power. Think of your mind like a battlefield. Every distraction is an enemy trying to steal your attention. And attention is your most valuable resource. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is scattered, your results will be scattered. If your attention is focused, your results will be powerful. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Eliminating noise requires courage. It means saying no. It means setting boundaries. It means walking away from habits, environments, and even people that no longer serve your growth. And that's hard, because comfort often hides inside those distractions. But comfort is expensive. It costs you your dreams. High performers understand this at a deep level. They protect their focus like their life depends on it, because it does. They don't just manage their time, they guard their environment. They are intentional about what they allow into their space, their mind, and their life, and you must do the same. Start asking yourself better questions. Does this help me grow? Does this move me closer to my goals? Or is this just noise disguised as activity? Be honest. Be ruthless. Because every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. When you begin to eliminate the noise, your life doesn't become empty. It becomes meaningful. Your thoughts become clearer. Your actions become sharper. Your energy becomes focused. And in that space, in that clarity, you finally give yourself the chance to become who you were meant to be. Let's get something straight right now. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you feel unstoppable, energized, ready to conquer the world. And other days you feel tired, distracted, completely unmotivated. If you rely on motivation to organize your life, you will lose that battle every single time. Because the people who win in life don't wait to feel ready, and they act anyway. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It is the ability to do what needs to be done even when every part of you resists it. And that resistance, that's where the transformation happens. There's a story about a young athlete who dreamed of becoming great. He had talent, no doubt. But talent wasn't the problem. Consistency was. Some days he trained hard, pushing himself beyond limits. Other days he skipped practice, telling himself he'd make up for it later. He was driven by motivation, and motivation kept failing him. One day, his coach sat him down and said something that changed his life. If you only train when you feel like it, you'll never become who you're capable of being. That hit him hard. From that moment on, he made a decision. He would show up every day, no matter how he felt. Tired, show up. Unmotivated, show up. Doubting himself, show up anyway. And over time, something incredible happened. His performance improved, his confidence grew, and he became unstoppable. Not because he always felt motivated, but because he became disciplined. That's the shift you need to make. When it comes to organizing your life, there will be days when you don't feel like planning, when you don't feel like staying focused, when distractions seem more appealing than discipline. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can follow your feelings or you can follow your commitment. Successful people follow their commitment. Discipline simplifies your life. It removes the constant negotiation in your mind. You don't ask, should I do this? You already know the answer. You've decided in advance who you are and what you do, and that decision becomes your standard. Think about how powerful that is. No more wasting energy debating with yourself, no more falling into the trap of, I'll do it later. Discipline eliminates delay. It creates momentum, and momentum creates results. But understand this, discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build, one decision at a time, one action at a time. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's hard, you strengthen that muscle. And every time you give in to excuses, you weaken it. So the question is simple. Which version of yourself are you training? The disciplined version of you is focused, organized, in control. The undisciplined version is reactive, scattered, constantly starting and stopping. Both are being built every day by your choices. And here's the truth. Your future doesn't care about your excuses. It responds to your actions. So stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. That moment doesn't exist. Make the decision. Take the action. Stay consistent. Because the day you choose discipline over motivation is the day your life starts to change for real. Here's a hard truth most people don't want to accept. Being busy is not the same as being productive. You can fill every hour of your day with activity, check off dozens of tasks, and still go to bed feeling like nothing truly moved forward. That's not because you didn't work hard. It's because you worked on the wrong things. Not everything deserves your time. When you begin to organize your life, one of the most powerful shifts you must make is learning how to prioritize what truly matters, because your time is limited. Your energy is limited. And if you don't decide where to focus them, something else will decide for you, and it will rarely be in your favor. Think about a typical day. Messages come in, calls, notifications, small requests, random problems. They all demand your attention. And most people respond immediately. They jump from one thing to another, putting out fires, reacting, staying busy. But by the end of the day, the important work, the work that actually changes their future, remains untouched. That's the trap. There's a powerful story of a professional who felt constantly overwhelmed. His schedule was packed from morning to night, meetings, emails, errands. He had no shortage of tasks, yet his career wasn't progressing. He felt stuck, frustrated, exhausted. One day, a mentor asked him a simple question. Out of everything you do in a day, which tasks actually make a real difference in your future? He couldn't answer immediately. That silence revealed the problem, so he did something different. He started identifying his high-value tasks, the few actions that directly impacted his growth, his income, his long-term success, and every morning, before anything else, he committed to completing those tasks first. No distractions, no excuses, just focused execution. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Urgent things were pulling at him. Notifications were buzzing. But he stayed disciplined. And within weeks, everything began to change. His results improved. His stress decreased. And for the first time, he felt like he was actually moving forward. That's the power of prioritization. Successful people don't try to do everything. They don't chase every opportunity or respond to every demand. They are selective. They understand that saying yes to everything is a fast track to mediocrity. Instead, they focus on what truly matters and they give it their full attention. You need to develop that same mindset. Start asking yourself, what are the few things in my life that will create the biggest impact? What tasks, if done consistently, will move me closer to my goals? And once you identify them, protect them. Treat them like they are non-negotiable, because they are. The truth is, most distractions come disguised as urgency. They feel important in the moment, but they don't contribute to your long-term success. And if you're not careful, they will consume your entire day. You have to take control. Learn to say no. Learn to delay what doesn't matter. Learn to focus deeply on what does. Because every time you choose a low-value task over a high-value one, you're choosing comfort over growth. And growth requires focus. When you master prioritization, something powerful happens. Your days become more meaningful, your efforts become more effective, and your results become undeniable. Because at the end of the day, success is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most and doing it relentlessly. Most people try to change their life using motivation. They wait for inspiration, push hard for a few days, then fall back into old patterns. And every time they restart the same cycle, beginning, struggling, stopping, and repeating. But the truth is simple. If your life depends on daily willpower alone, you will eventually fail. Not because you're weak, but because you're relying on something unstable. That's why systems change everything. A system is something you build once and then follow repeatedly. It removes guesswork. It removes emotional decision making. It removes the daily struggle of what should I do next. Instead, it gives your life structure. It gives your goals a path they can actually follow. Think about a successful company. It doesn't rely on one person waking up every morning feeling motivated. It runs on systems, processes, routines, structures that ensure things get done consistently. Now apply that same logic to your life. Why would you expect success from chaos when even businesses rely on structure? There's a powerful shift that happens when you move from goals to systems. Goals are important. They give you direction. But goals alone are not enough. You can set a goal to get fit, earn more money, or become more disciplined. But without a system, that goal remains a wish. Systems turn wishes into reality. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine two people who both want to get in shape. The first person sets a goal, I want to lose weight. He feels motivated, hits the gym hard for a week, eats clean for a few days, and then slowly falls back into old habits. The second person builds a system. He decides, I will exercise every morning at 7 a.m. I will prepare my meals every Sunday. I will track my progress every night. He doesn't rely on motivation. He relies on structure. And over time, while the first person struggles with inconsistency, the second person transforms his body, not because he tried harder, but because he built a system that made success automatic. That's the difference. Systems remove decision fatigue. They eliminate the constant mental battle of choosing what to do. When your routine is already defined, you simply follow it. No debate, no delay, no emotional resistance. And here's the deeper truth. Your future is already being shaped by the systems you currently have. If your system is waking up late, scrolling your phone first thing in the morning, and reacting to the day instead of leading it, that system is designing your life. If your system is procrastination, distraction, and inconsistency, that system is quietly building your results. But the good news is this: you can rebuild your system at any time. Start small. Create a morning routine that sets your tone for the day. Build a work routine that protects your focus. Design a nightly routine that helps you reflect and reset. These are not just habits, they are building blocks of your identity. And once these systems are in place, something powerful happens. You stop forcing discipline. You stop chasing motivation. You simply follow the structure you created. And that structure carries you forward, even on days when you don't feel like it. Because real success is not about occasional effort. It's about consistent execution. So stop relying on motivation. Stop restarting your life every Monday. Instead, build systems that make success inevitable. Because when your systems are strong, your results stop being unpredictable and start becoming unstoppable.